Before we get into our episode, me and Ash wanted to just take a little second because today, well, actually a couple days ago, we hit a major milestone.
On the 25th of March, we celebrated our 4-year anniversary as a podcast. And we cannot believe it has been 4 years. I cannot believe that you guys have listened to us rant and talk for ages and ages about the most random things for 4 years. Like, you guys are dedicated, and that means the world to us.
We just want to say a huge thank you to those of you who have been with us through infancy, toddlerhood, and now we're like a small human. And like, we're just so beyond grateful, and we're super pumped because today, which is the 27th, we are dropping a surprise little just like merch piece for you guys.
Just a celebratory tote.
Just a celebratory tote. Do you want to describe the tote?
Yes. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to show you guys, but you can also follow us on socials. You'll see it there. This is our Therapy is Hot tote. We wanted to do a little like 90s throwback, so we have some flames on there. It's really fun. It's black. So now when you go onto our merch website, there's a couple tote options for you to choose from. Whichever one feels a little more like you can go with. But we love the Therapy is Hot phrase. We obviously are a big therapy fan, so we just thought this would resonate with us, with our podcast, with our listeners. So go check it out and get your tote.
It's super sturdy to carry your physical baggage while we carry your emotional baggage. So we love you all. Thank you for being a part of the UA fam, and we're super excited for 4 more years to come. Today's episode is brought to you by Canva. Creating visual content is an essential part of what we do, but the creative process hasn't always been easy. Like, we have all these ideas, we have all these brainstorming sessions, and we are just freaking Michelangelos in our minds.
Obviously.
But then we sit down, and I have no idea how to, like, get what's on my mind into, like, an aesthetic form that we can post. You know what I mean?
Right.
Ever since we found Canva for Teams, it's been easy for us to collaborate and design as a team, which makes the whole process so much more creative and fun.
If you guys don't know, Canva for Teams is a design platform that makes it easy for anyone to create stunning content in any format, from social media posts to videos, presentations, and websites. The endless templates and premium fonts, photos, graphics, and videos add personality and edge to all of my team's content. And with features designed for brand consistency, Canva for Teams makes it easy to maintain your aesthetic and add your logos, fonts, and colors to anything you create. And that is my favorite part of Canva for Teams, because you can literally download your photos, the actual colors that you use, all the fonts that you use, making everything so seamless and so cohesive.
Collaborate with Canva for Teams. Right now, you can get a free 45-day extended trial when you go to canva.me/advice. That's canva.me/advice for a free 45-day extended trial. Canva.me/advice.
So I don't know about you guys, but we've all had burning questions. Love, relationships, career, family life. Or what if you've been hearing more about tarot cards or astrology lately and want to see what it means for you? Well, here is your chance. Keen's spiritual advisors have been helping people find answers and clarity in their lives for nearly 25 years. If you need balance, reassurance, Keen's vetted, best-in-class psychic advisors are available 24/7, and they've helped over 14 million people just like you. Every conversation is confidential, and you can connect by phone or online chat within minutes. They even have a satisfaction guarantee, which... love that. So what are you waiting for? Give it a try. Head to keen.com/unsolicited and get your first 10 minutes connecting with a psychic advisor for just $1.99.
Okay, Ash.
Yes, sir.
Would you rather have telekinesis or telepathy?
So I feel like I mix them up a lot.
Oh, okay.
So hold on. Telepathy, you can
Telekinesis.
move yourself from one place.
No. Telepathy is mind. You can read people's mind, and telekinesis is you can move things.
Okay.
With your mind.
I don't think I would do well knowing other people's thoughts.
Yeah.
I think it would mess with me.
Yeah.
So I'd rather not. and I'd rather move things.
Yeah.
That's my final answer.
When you watched Matilda for the first time, did you sit in your room and go,
Oh, 1,000%.
yeah, same.
I was like, oh, I have those powers. I just got to awaken them somehow. How
Yeah.
do I do that?
No, literally same. These are so, dude, I feel like.
I even
should
remember
we
like
just-
knocking stuff over at one point and being like, was that me?
You did.
I would bump it and knock it over, pretending it was my power, and then like believing that I somehow did that.
You nerd.
I know.
You said, I know.
I know.
Wait, should we do a couple more? Because these are actually really interesting.
Yeah. Let's go.
Would you rather be forced to sing along or dance to every song you hear? So every time a song comes on, you either have to sing or dance.
I would probably go sing.
Yeah.
Because you guys already know I have a weird fear of dancing.
But maybe that would get you over it.
True. Or maybe I would find like my go-to dance move, like my niche, you know?
Yeah. To everything. Classical.
Little bob and weave.
Hip hop. Yeah.
Little snap.
I would sing, obviously.
Right.
I do anyways.
Right.
Ooh, this one's deep. Would you rather find true love today or win the lottery next year? That's intense.
I'm gonna go lotto.
The longest pause, we're both like,
I'm like,
staring
let
off.
me really think about this. I'm gonna go lotto.
I'm pretty torn, but I think I'm like 1% closer to true love.
Yeah.
1%.
Yeah.
Not much. Okay. Would you rather? Ooh, Ash. Ooh, I'm about to cause some drama. Okay. Would you rather have another 10 years with your current partner or get to have a one-night stand with your all-time celebrity crush? Bye. I'm just kidding.
So what's interesting about this is I would say as of the last like 3 weeks of my life, The Last of Us has become like just taken up a huge chunk of my mind. And so as of right now, he's my celebrity crush.
Pedro?
Yeah.
Me too.
So like
Back off.
that would be great.
Bye. Wait, do you say his name on here? Have you said his name?
I've said Jackson. Yeah.
Bye, Jackson. Just kidding.
Honestly,
like,
I feel like he would support this.
what if he was like, I just really don't know if I'm comfortable with you hanging out with Taryne anymore.
Yeah.
She seems like a bad influence.
I feel like he also has a crush on Pedro. So like I think we can both
support.
I could do this for both of us.
He would take you back after.
Yeah.
Okay.
He understands.
Cool. Would you rather have everyone you know be able to read your thoughts, or everyone you know have access to your internet history? Oh God.
Both aren't great. Neither one is great, but I would say internet history over thoughts because I think I can be really mean in my head. Because I don't say what I think a lot. Yeah. And I think some bad things. Yeah. So internet history, final answer.
I feel like I'm maybe one of 2 to 3. Honestly, maybe one of 2 people in the world who have just had a slight glimpse into like you're honest about like some of the thoughts you've had, and it can get pretty dark.
It gets dark, but
it can get pretty dark.
It only makes sense, especially as a non-confrontational person. You know how they're like, oh, it's the quiet ones you have to look out for, because you got to get those emotions out somehow.
It's like pent up. So in your mind, you're like cussing someone out.
A person off,
on the outside, you're just like stoic.
I'm smiling and I'm holding it in, and I'm probably like pinching myself, trying to like make sure I keep it together. But
honestly,
it's not easy.
Both are equally as bad for me, but my internet history is weird.
I am like, I would feel like if people were to look at my internet history, they'd wonder like, is she trying to build a bomb? What's going on? Because I'm just like so curious about 90% of the time it's because I'm listening to a podcast and I have to know what's happening, or I'm watching a show that also is usually like murder related or like crime mystery related, and I'm just like, is this a thing? So I'm like Googling a ton of stuff, and I think people would think I'm crazy.
No, I for sure am on like the FBI's like watch list. Because the stuff I Google is concerning.
Yeah.
It's concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, this was fun.
This is great.
This was fun.
This is real great.
Anyways, hi everyone else. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey,
this
everyone.
has nothing to do with you.
Welcome to Unsolicited
entertaining
Advice.
ourselves.
We are Unsolicited Advice. That's Taryne over there.
Yep.
Taryne.
Oh, sorry. That's Ashley over there. Motions to my right.
If you want to, you can actually watch us while we talk. You can follow us on YouTube. We have the TikTok. We have the Instagram. You can follow us on all those things.
Mm-hmm.
We've been more active there, which has been so fun. And yeah, welcome back to another fun episode.
Yeah.
How you been, Taryne?
I've been good.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Oh, my brother just got engaged.
Yes, he did.
So that was like super exciting. He's been with his girlfriend for like 7 years, which is crazy.
That's so wild.
And it's one of those things, like, I've always known they were going to get married.
Mm-hmm.
And I really respect the way they went about stuff, is because they've always known too.
Mm.
But my brother is a very, like, he wanted to make sure, like, he was like secure in his career and financially, and like they both had like finished school and were kind of set in who they were as people before they did that, because he was just like, I already know you're my person, but like, why would we get married and add all this stress onto like a new relationship, new marriage?
Exactly. And when we say 7 years, like, she was in high school at the time when they first started dating. So that just goes to paint a picture of like, she's still growing and discovering herself. And obviously he's not that much older. So like he's still growing and discovering himself. I feel like we talk about on the podcast all the time about how like the high school to 25 is like such a pivotal time in your life. So I love that they like waited before like finalizing everything, just to give each other space to grow and to do all those things.
Especially, like you said, especially when you're younger. Like, I feel like I probably wouldn't have to date a person that long in where I'm at now, because I'm so secure in like who I am and like what I want.
What you want, what you don't want. It's
but
so
back
much clearer.
then, it would have taken like a lot longer. So, anyways, it's like one of those things, like, we've all known it's coming, but it was still like super exciting to just watch him propose, and they're just the cutest. So that was really exciting, and me and Ash had a sleepover last night, which was fun. I think the first one.
At your place.
In my new apartment. Yeah. Well, new-ish. I've been there like almost a year now, but it was fun. That was fun. And that's really that's really all the updates that I would like to talk about.
Yeah,
we'll put it that way.
For sure. Did you hear about the podcasters that got murdered?
You sent me that, and that I don't like that.
Isn't that terrifying?
No, it's terrifying.
Oh, it's the most. I feel like this is the first time anything like that's happened, unless I'm naive and missed something. For it to happen to podcasters, not like celebrities.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's the first. You know what? I actually wouldn't be surprised if more. Well, context. Do you want to say what happens?
Yeah. So,
like, what are they talking about?
A couple of podcasters. I'm probably gonna butcher their names, so I'm so sorry. I don't know how to pronounce them. Zoray and Milad. Milad was her husband, I guess. She was a podcaster. She had a stalker, and he broke into their house at like early in the morning and murdered both of them. Yeah, and she had they had a protection order against this guy, because he had like been stalking her, and like he would like follow her to different states, like when she went on trips. It's pretty creepy.
And then obviously like he was like not mentally sound.
Yeah, and I guess like. And as you do, being podcasters, I guess he was a fan, and they like talked a little bit on socials, nothing intense. It was just like, I'm a fan or whatever. And she was like, oh, love that. Like, thanks for listening. Like simple stuff like that. Yeah. And I guess he never stopped messaging her, and she eventually tried to block him and like stopped responding to him. And he just like, obviously was psychotic, or is psychotic, and was psychotic. And, it's oh my God, it's terrifying.
It's scary. It honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. The stalking aspect of it happens more often. But I am a little shocked, especially because podcasts, you have a lot, especially in the true crime realm.
Yeah.
Where they're like, I mean, this podcast I'm listening to right now, they're deep diving this case. and they keep interviewing and saying stuff about like suspects they're assuming had something to do with it. And these are like, we're talking like grown men who have like a crazy violent past. So, I mean, I would be shocked if like certain realms they didn't have people that were trying to get, you know, revenge for like
it's heartbreaking
digging up certain things. But no, that's so sad.
It's heartbreaking.
So
it's
sad.
Really scary. And I mean, I can think of a few people. I know Taryne could think of a few people who we've corresponded, and like the texting or the messaging just hasn't stopped, and it just made me kind of like, maybe we should take that more seriously. I don't know.
But luckily, I mean, knock on everything. We really have had, it's usually very positive interactions. Which is so nice. So
right.
I'm hoping that
so grateful for
but our
listeners being just amazing.
It's one of those things where you know how like you have the slightest common ground with someone and you feel very connected. Like I don't know anything about these people, but the fact that they're podcasters,
and
it
just
was
hit
fan,
a little
like,
different.
I was
a little different.
Definitely.
I was like, oh, this
Scary.
isn't just a random person. It's scary.
No, for sure.
But yeah, any updates from my side? Not really. I went to the Pretty Basic pop-up and I ran into a lot of you guys, and that was really fun getting to like, again, see faces, talk in person, talk about the podcast and how much you guys love it. And yeah, it honestly just made my day.
Good.
I went to a coffee shop the other day, and I'm sure she's listening because she says she listens to every single episode, but I get in line and this girl in front of me turns around, looks at me, and then like orders her coffee. And then she turns back around and she was like, "This is so weird. I was just listening to your podcast on the way here." And I was at this coffee shop with my friend Lexi, and she goes, "And you started talking to your friend and I immediately knew it was you." And I was like, what?
It's our voice.
Yeah.
She knew our voice.
So she was like, yeah, I've listened to like every single episode since day one. And I was like, wow, that's incredible.
Aww.
So shout out to you. You know who you are. And it was fun. It was fun meeting you.
Yeah.
Little moments like that are always so cool.
No, I love it. I hope we have more stuff in the future where we get to like, you know, like either live shows or certain things where we can like do meet and greets. Because it just makes it feel real, and you feel so much more, even just meeting like one person, you feel so much more connected to just your audience as a whole. Because you're like, these are people, like I got to hug somebody, and it just is like really refreshing.
Yeah. No, it's very refreshing. So very excited for that. And just getting to meet you guys and talk in person.
Yes. Today's episode is brought to you by Canva. Creating visual content is an essential part of what we do, but the creative process hasn't always been easy. Like, you know, we have all these ideas, we have all these brainstorming sessions, and we are just freaking Michelangelos in our minds.
Obviously.
But then we sit down, and I have no idea how to, like, get what's on my mind into, like, an aesthetic form that we can post. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Ever since we found Canva for Teams, it's been easy for us to collaborate and design as a team, which makes the whole process so much more creative and fun.
If you guys don't know, Canva for Teams is a design platform that makes it easy for anyone to create stunning content in any format, from social media posts to videos, presentations, and websites. The endless templates and premium fonts, photos, graphics, and videos add personality and edge to all of my team's content. And with features designed for brand consistency, Canva for Teams makes it easy to maintain your aesthetic and add your logos, fonts, and colors to anything you create. And that is my favorite part of Canva for Teams, because you can literally download your photos, the actual colors that you use, all the fonts that you use, making everything so seamless and so cohesive. Canva for Teams streamlines how we do social media too. We can plan, create, and share social media content directly to our channels from one place, and even schedule posts ahead of time, which is just a godsend and time saver. Canva for Teams has a video editor that is so easy to use, with tons of filters, animations, and transitions that will bring your group's content to life. And Canva for Teams enables you to take your presentations to the next level with professionally designed presentation templates. Plus, our remote control feature means you can virtually connect and navigate slides from any device, making it so easy when you're on the go or traveling.
Collaborate with Canva for Teams. Right now, you can get a free 45-day extended trial when you go to canva.me/advice. That's canva.me/advice for a free 45-day extended trial. Canva.me/advice.
Should we do a tearing it up?
I would love. I feel like I just had a tearing it up and I can't remember what it was. Something happened to me recently, but if it comes,
please let us know.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
You know, as the creator, as the birthright of the segment,
as the owner of,
as the LLC or whatever it's called.
Okay, this one is just absolutely incredible. Let's get into it. I'm not going to read the title.
Okay.
Hello, ladies. My name is Chloe, and you can use my name. My friend Sarah and I absolutely love your podcast, and when she told me the story, we knew it was too good not to share. This one is a doozy, so buckle up. I helped her write the story, so it's from Sarah's perspective. I was working as a night shift nurse at the time, and it's important to note that I was still living with my parents. In order to keep my nocturnal sleep schedule, I was up in the middle of the night. I decided to do my laundry and clean my Diva cup. For those of you that don't know, a Diva cup is a silicone cup replacement for tampons. In order to sanitize a Diva cup, you need to boil it on the stove. I filled the pot with water and put my cup on the stove. I used my phone to set a timer before heading over to work on my laundry. 10 minutes later, my alarm went off while I was moving things to the dryer. I turned off the alarm and made a mental note to grab it as soon as I started the dryer. Spoiler alert, I didn't remember.
Oh, gosh.
About 30 minutes later, I was lying on my bed, chilling, when, to my dismay, I began to smell smoke. Immediately after, the smoke alarms went off and I sprinted towards the kitchen. As I ran down the dark hallway, I saw the flickering glow from the kitchen reflecting off the hallway walls. When I turned the corner into the kitchen, there were flames coming from the pot where my Diva cup once was. Ashes floated in the air and I ran to the stove. My first instinct was to grab the pot and take it to the sink to put out the fire. Unfortunately for me, turning on the water to put the fire out caused the remaining ashes to fly directly into my face.
Oh, no.
At this point, I was inhaling my Diva cup.
Ew.
But at least it was sterile, right? At this point, my parents came rushing in to see what was going on, where they found me covered in ashes in front of the sink. I stumbled over my words as I tried to explain what happened. They were more concerned than anything when they realized there was no immediate danger and the situation was under control. Then they went back to bed. As the smoke settled, I looked into the pot to see what was left of my poor Diva cup, but there was nothing there except ashes. And all the water had evaporated. My Diva cup was truly on fire.
Oh, I was like,
it had
I'm
boiled
missing
too long.
a piece. So
Yeah.
all the water had evaporated. And so it literally just.
So then the rubber literally
caught
just
on
started
fire.
burning. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So the next morning, I inspected the crime scene. And to paint you girls a picture, our stove is under the microwave, which is black. The plastic on the underside of the microwave has been warped from the flames, but luckily it still works. Moral of the story, keep an eye on your Diva cup or you risk catching it on fire. We love you ladies so much and hope you enjoy this story. Love, Chloe and Sarah.
My gosh.
I think that's so funny because, like, obviously as she was reading it, as she was writing it, it was clear, like, okay, she's going to forget about it.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't expect that to happen.
No.
I was like, what's the worst that could happen?
I was thinking like the dad came in and saw it.
Or
and
someone was like, what is this?
Yeah.
You know, and some guy was uncomfortable just talking about it or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
But no. The title of this is I Set My Diva Cup on Fire, a Tearing It Up. I also love that this was co-written by two friends.
Yeah.
Like, one of the friends was like, that's amazing. We need to put this.
write it in. Yeah.
If you guys have any funny Diva Cup stories, please send it in. Also, if you have a friend that has a funny story that you want to submit that story, just go ahead and help her write it.
Yeah.
A little co-writing moment is so fun.
Dang. Yeah. The only thing I've said, I learned the hard way, you can't microwave Oreos, Which you would think, right?
You
or am I
can't.
dumb for thinking you
Did
can
you put it in
microwave
for too
Oreo?
long?
I guess. I was babysitting when I was younger, and in my mind I was like, oh, I'm going to microwave the Oreos and they're going to be like warm and it's going to be so good.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like the whole house filled with smoke. It was like really bad.
Huh. Interesting.
So.
I wonder if you like had dipped it in a little bit of milk and then microwaved it, if that would have been.
I don't know, yeah. I haven't really
I've never tried microwaving Oreos.
Yeah, I haven't started a fire though.
Honestly, I haven't had an Oreo in a really long time. That sounds incredible. Should we go get some
Ash
Oreos
just
after
keeps
this?
circling back. So Oreos though.
So back to Oreos.
Fun fact about Oreos.
I also when I spent the night at Taryne's last night, and I was like, I need something sweet because it's like my toxic trait is I need something sweet before bed every night of my entire life.
Yeah.
So I go and like open her brother's like, oh, here's this cabinet. He opens it for me. And I saw Captain Crunch and I lost it. I was like, berries, Captain Crunch with berries. And I just like grabbed a couple handfuls and just ate that. And then, hot take maybe,
Okay.
but the Nerd gummies
Oh yeah.
are, in my opinion, the best candies
They're so
in the
good.
game.
So good.
The best candies in the game.
So
If you
good.
haven't tried them and you're a candy person, I wouldn't even say I'm a candy person. I would say I'm a chocolate person.
Yeah.
These are so good. They're so good. I had to like throw the bag back before I
Yeah. Ate them all.
ate them all by myself.
Yeah. It's funny because like last night you were reminding me of like, you know, when like you live in a house where your parents make you eat healthy food and then you
go to your
visit
friend's
your
house?
friends, like your cool friend's house and you're like, oh my gosh, like there's Chex Mix and
Yeah.
Cheez-Its and Captain Crunch. And
My friends were the Sonkies. That was her
Yeah.
last name. And my friend's name was Sarah. And every time I went and spent the night at her house, I knew I was getting Captain Crunch cereal.
Yeah.
And I was having like all the sweet drinks.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
You know what's funny though?
I loved it.
It's like you live with yourself.
Yeah.
So like
I literally
do it to yourself.
I am
You're
my
like,
mother.
I am
like
the
I
healthy
literally
house.
am like I'm not. It's not allowed in the house because
Yeah.
I don't have self control when it
Yeah,
comes to
you'll eat
food.
it. Yeah, yeah.
So like it's not allowed in the house.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's a thing, and it's a me rule. But now I go to other people's houses and I'm like, ooh, is that candy?
Yeah. What's this?
I'm gonna help myself. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, so good. So good. Oops.
Just PTSD from having a super health food mother,
Yeah. And now you're turning into one.
and now I am her.
Uh-oh. Your poor children. It's okay. I'll be the cool aunt that they can come to my house.
Like, you want something sweet? Go to Annie's house.
And
Auntie's house.
then I'll just like slip you some too.
Yeah, I'll just be like, give me one.
Yeah.
I need one.
Okay, let's get into our first story. I'm not going to read the title yet, but for a reason.
Okay.
And I'll explain later.
Okay. Designated drink time.
Hi, Ash and Taryne. First off, let me just tell you how extremely grateful and thankful I am for the podcast and the amazing things you two girls do. Listening to your podcast is the best part of my day. You inspire me to be unapologetically myself and not shy away from a challenge. And then I didn't just pick the story because she says this, but she says the sweetest thing. She said, Taryne, thank you so much for the encouragement to accept that I am more than just my body and that I am an amazing independent woman and that my worth is not based on my appearance.
That's
And so
1,000% why you picked it. No, I'm just kidding.
sweet. No, but like, I just love that.
That's very sweet.
Because that's like, you know how like sometimes you'll like talk about things you're passionate about and you're just like, I hope people are hearing like exactly what I'm saying.
Getting the
But, like,
message.
Yeah, the fact that
Yeah.
she said that, it just made my heart so happy because I'm like, good, like that's what I'm trying to communicate, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. I'd like to stay anonymous, but you two can know my name. Her name is I'm 21 years old and not sure where on the Enneagram I fall. I feel like I relate to a lot of them, so maybe by the end, you two will be able to tell.
Okay.
We love a good challenge.
Ooh. I'm going to pay attention extra hard
I know,
now.
right? I apologize in advance if it's a bit jumbled and I ramble on. It's hard to collect all my thoughts and properly put them into words. I've been struggling with depression and anxiety for as long as I can remember. I had a really tough childhood, not a good father figure, went through a lot of tough family issues, and lost a lot of people close to me over the past 2 years. This has all taken a really big toll on my mental health. I recently got into a relationship 9 months ago. He is the most amazing person in the entire world and makes me feel so loved and taken care of. I moved out of home recently as well, and that has been tremendous help for me mentally. Now, here's the issue. I should be super happy, calm, and not anxious, right? I mean, I've separated myself from people who have hurt me, and I feel like I'm finally doing things I love and moving on. But the past 6 months have been super rough. I've had more panic/anxiety attacks than ever before, and they happen at the most random times, even when I feel really happy and relaxed. I think because of the environment, I have slight separation anxiety, so I cling to my boyfriend a lot for physical and emotional support. He travels for work, so he's not home most of the year, which makes it really tough when I have these episodes. I get really depressed some days, and it just feels like too much. I'm currently working, but I am looking for a second job. Am I subconsciously trying to self-sabotage my happiness because I feel undeserving? I guess I'm looking for insight into why I may be feeling like this at a time in my life where I feel like I shouldn't. I appreciate any advice y'all have. And then she included a picture of her and her boyfriend.
Cute.
I think so cute. Your eyes are
Stunning.
How did I have this?
What are you doing? What's
don't know.
going? What's
I was
happening over there?
I get very uncomfortable unless things are arranged. And certain weeks I have a hard time arranging to where it feels comfortable. And today was one of them.
Interesting.
Anyways. Love Anonymous. Yeah, wow. This one was it's so heavy because I know that a lot of people go through this.
Mm-hmm.
And the hardest thing to go through is when you feel something and you can't exactly pinpoint why.
Yeah.
Because it's harder to attack
Yeah.
in the moment, you know?
Yeah. So I saw, this has just been me in my life lately. I saw a TikTok recently, and it was this girl. Have you seen the trend where you put whatever in front and you cap cut it, and it's with cars? And it's the little car being a big fan of the big car and just cheering them on.
Oh, from Lightning?
Yeah.
Lightning McQueen? Oh, yeah.
This girl posted, it was a photo of her in the corner of her room crying. And the caption, the text said, feeling guilty for being such a burden, for my anxiety and my depression being such a burden on my partner.
Mm-hmm.
And then it cuts to little Lightning, being her partner. And how he's actually feeling is just him hyping her up, him cheering her on, and all of that being in her head.
Yeah.
And I think that was such a simple TikTok, but so powerful in that all of these feelings, not 100% of the time, but a lot of the time are just you in your head, and your partner is actually just so there for you and so trying to help you get through this and is just your biggest fan and wants you to succeed in every way. And I think a lot of times, I'm not saying that this is you per se, but I do think everyone should check themselves and be wait, is this in my head?
Yeah.
Or is this factual?
Yeah. And it sounds like her partner's
great.
I mean, she actually doesn't even mention if he's super supportive or not, but the only thing is she says he's amazing and that she relies on him for that support.
Uh-huh.
So obviously I feel she would say that if she was he's not doing good at it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that for sure, if that is a pressure being felt, I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
Like what you're saying, I think that would be a mental thing because it doesn't sound like in anything she's saying that he's telling her opposite.
Yeah.
But I feel the majority of the battle is trying to figure out, okay, my depression made sense when I was in a household with, it sounds like there might have been a lot of traumatic things that happened in her childhood. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense then, but now I'm out of it and I'm happy. So why am I still having depression flare-ups?
Got it.
And I think that's hard for people to understand of well, I fixed my surroundings. So why is this still happening?
I think a big thing to that is I mean, even like vets, like PTSD and stuff, just because they're out of the war zone and they're not fighting anymore doesn't mean they don't have those feelings and those emotions and haven't been traumatized by it. And Taryne and I were talking yesterday about how like trauma looks different from person to person, and how sometimes it's like it might seem like it's not trauma because it's little, but it's still trauma.
Yeah.
And it still affected you in a traumatic way. So I think to just simply escape and not be in that environment anymore isn't enough to say that you're over it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad you're out and I'm glad you are in a better place and I'm glad you're happy with your boyfriend, but there's probably still stuff you need to work through.
Yeah. No, I feel it's so hard because I can hear how much like you probably spiral on this, and how much every like flare up of these emotions causes you to be like, what's going on? Like, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I still feeling this way? But for me, like, I feel like it's so clear why you feel that way. Like, it sounds to me like you have a whole load of past things that just because they're not around you doesn't mean the damage of what happened isn't still there. I'm still to this day, I'm in my 30s, and I still to this day am having to, something will come up and I'll trace it back to like when I was a little girl. And I'm still having to like reach back at that time and try to heal those past hurts. So it unless you like have worked through that and expressed that, those things are going to keep coming up. And even if you have done the work to heal something, sometimes there's still that residual stuff that comes up because your brain is used to thinking that way. Your mind is used to going that way. And I feel like when I'm listening to what you're saying, like I see the connection so easily. And I feel like you're not giving yourself credit enough to acknowledge what you went through, and that like you deserve to take time to like heal in a more like a deeper way.
Yeah.
You know? And even so, like the title of her thing is, do I deserve to feel this way? And I hate that. I hate that you even have that word in there of, do I deserve to feel this way? Like to me, I hear that as like, what's wrong? What have I done wrong? Like, or what am I doing this to myself? It's very like, as if like you have control to change it and you're choosing not to. And I don't think that's the case.
No,
I think you have a lot of serious stuff that you need to work through. And honestly, like I think you need therapy. I think that's very clear if you haven't looked into that already.
Therapy's hot.
Yeah, therapy is hot. But I think that, I don't know, like when I always think of it as like a cup, right? Like your cup fills with hurt and trauma and certain things. And if you haven't taken the time to actually release and pour that stuff out, every drop that's added is just going to keep making you spill out. And you're not spilling out exactly what you're going through at that moment. You're spilling out like everything that's just been like harboring in your heart and your mind, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like you having these releases is your body and your mind and your heart's way of telling you like, hey, we got a lot of stuff in here that like we've got to figure out how to work through.
Yeah. So I don't know about you guys, but we've all had burning questions. Love, relationships, career, family life. Or what if you've been hearing more about tarot cards or astrology lately and want to see what it means for you? Well, here is your chance. Keen's spiritual advisors have been helping people find answers and clarity in their lives for nearly 25 years. If you need balance, reassurance, Keen's vetted, best-in-class psychic advisors are available 24/7, and they've helped over 14 million people just like you. Every conversation is confidential, and you can connect by phone or online chat within minutes. They even have a satisfaction guarantee, which, love that. So what are you waiting for? Give it a try. Head to keen.com/unsolicited and get your first 10 minutes connecting with a psychic advisor for just $1.99.
I don't know if you can relate to this, but I know when, like, back in the day when I was like a teacher and I worked full time, I would like never get sick. And then the second there was a vacation, like Thanksgiving break, without fail, I would get sick.
I was like that in school.
Yeah. And I always was so confused by that.
Yeah.
But like someone told me, well, your body like finally rested.
Yeah.
So then like all the things that had been like pushing down, like adrenaline kept you
that's
going
such
and all
a great
those things.
example.
It comes out and then your body like goes through the thing.
Yeah.
So to
Finally
me,
has time to process it.
yes. To me, you being in this safe, peaceful,
Healthy.
zone,
Yeah.
your body's finally like, okay.
Now we got to unpack this.
Yeah. And to me, like, I think that's a good sign that you're starting to like try to like reject and get out those feelings because
that's good.
You have to. Thanks,
That was great.
Thanks, Ash. But you have to do that in order to then be able to just sit into like where you are now. And a lot of that is stuff that you have to do on your own.
Yeah.
So your partner always traveling for work and stuff. I know right now you're seeing it as like, this is hard because I'm by myself and he's not here. But I think that's even more valuable for you to build up those skills on how to self-regulate for yourself. So you're not always leaning and dependent on him.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to make your relationship stronger too if you're able to do that on your own. And then you still lean on him when you need to, you know?
Yeah. I think what's happening is I think your body's almost subconsciously telling you like you'll never be able to fully rest on your own, but also in your relationship and trust your relationship and trust yourself. And until you deal with this stuff, it's always going to be holding you back. And that's almost like your body's way of being like, hey, like, we're finally in a safe place. We really need to unpack this now. Otherwise, this is going to continue to be a burden in your life and in your partner's lives.
No,
So,
that's so true.
Oh my God. I think it's almost like, you know how they say like you have to listen to your body because your body knows what's going on and you have to listen in order to learn.
Yep.
Your body's saying, hey, help, we're not done.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing.
No.
It's actually being very proactive of like, okay, in order to have a happy, healthy future, we need to process this now and get it over with. And I think the way Taryne worded that, like you having that alone time without your partner in your life is almost, I would think of it like a game. Like I would think of it like the day he leaves, I would have your schedule set and ready of designated times when you're allowed to sit down and like actively deal with those things. And obviously, I'm not a therapist, and I highly recommend you talk to someone, a professional. But have you been watching Shrinking?
Still only the first like 2 or 3 episodes.
One of the coolest things that happened in, I think, like the second episode or something like that. Obviously, if you don't know a little background, this isn't a spoiler. They're all like therapists, and they're dealing. Couple of the characters are dealing with some pretty heavy stuff, and the therapist says, I want you for 15 minutes a day to listen to like the saddest song you can think of and let yourself like mourn, let yourself grieve, let yourself process all of those things. And then the second the song's done, you need to go about your life again.
Yeah.
And I think there's something so powerful in giving yourself a designated time to do something. Obviously, it could be more than 15 minutes. It could be an hour. It could be your nighttime routine before bed. It could be you starting your day with like a devotional, a meditation, something positive, but like actively forcing yourself to sit in those feelings and talk about it and deal with it and like make a plan. And I think it'll be fun to then when your partner comes back to be like, here's all the things that I like worked on while you were gone. And I can't wait to share them with you and to be able to share that growth and like be proud of it.
No, I think that's so good. And I did like, I looked up a few things. I mean, I've talked about, before, like how like depression and anxiety, like they kind of go into, you get lost in like other realms besides like the present, you know, like, I mean, depression is more like present because it's like how you're feeling and like the heaviness in that moment. But a lot of times using like distraction techniques to get your mind out of it. I even posted a video on my YouTube. It's like tools for anxiety or something, but that has a lot of good ones of ways that you can like in that moment try to break whatever you're spiraling on. But the other thing I saw and just looking up different things. I kind of pulled stuff from like different articles, but a lot of stuff I saw kind of harped on what you're talking about, Anonymous, of feeling like you don't have a quote unquote reason to be depressed, even especially if you're perceiving your life as like good or easy at the moment.
I feel like that's oftentimes worse.
Yeah, exactly.
To not have a reason to feel that way is scary.
Absolutely.
Because I would think in my head, like, at least if you have a specific reason, you can be like, oh, well, I should be feeling sad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes more sense. When it comes out of nowhere, that can be scary.
It also said that there's this pressure to explain or justify how you feel. And if you can't do that, depression feels worse and may even prevent people from getting necessary treatment because you're just wrapped in this like, well, how is anything going to help? Because I don't even know why I'm feeling this way kind of thing.
Yeah.
But everything I saw was just saying like, that's what therapy's for. Like they help you weed that out. And I feel like I can read your story, Anonymous, and I know why you're having those episodes, even though those things happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
But another thing I saw is it's really important to try to identify your triggers. And one of the things they suggested is when you start to enter in that place, journaling and like really trying to look at what exactly are you feeling, what happened right before you started feeling this way, and kind of just taking note of it. And then over time, hopefully you'll see like a pattern emerging.
Yeah.
Or at minimum, you're taking the time to write out your feelings. And that's such a way of letting things go, you know, like writing it out on paper. Every time I journal, I'm always so impressed with what actually comes out because it's so profound. And I know that if I'm just thinking in my thoughts and I'm spiraling, like I'm not getting to that level. But when you actually physically are writing things on paper, there's something so releasing about that.
100%.
Yeah, we're both journalers.
I mean,
not as much anymore, but I've been through a time where journaling was very important.
I also went through
me.
a time where journaling was important, and I think it's interesting how, for me specifically, because I'm not naturally a journaler, it all happened in like dark, heavy moments, and I think it is very therapeutic, and I think it helps dramatically. And my mom went through some serious stuff, with her anxiety, and when she was battling a lot of problems, and she did. I don't think she could afford a therapist at the time. She just journaled every night. Yeah. And she said it got her through it.
Oh, absolutely.
And it was very beneficial to be able to like look over what you read and almost like have an outsider's perspective on what you're reading.
Yeah.
But it's you.
No, definitely.
Crazy.
Another thing said, so if you're able to identify the trigger, work hard to remove it. And I had a friend recently say that her therapist and her were talking, and her therapist was like, hey, I really think you need to like delete Instagram for a while, because her therapist was seeing patterns of like comparison and different things. So like if you're able to identify, take steps to like remove it if possible.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to feel what you feel, which is what you were just touching on, and not being afraid of it or ashamed of it or pushing it down, but being like, no, I'm sad today. So I'm going to let myself be sad. I'm going to let myself feel this and then move forward. And then, you know, like I said, if you are interested in some techniques, I do have that video. I don't feel like we need to break down all those things. Yeah. But a new one I just saw is exposure to cold activates your sympathetic nervous system, which gives you energy. So this thing was saying to take a washcloth and a bowl with ice water, dip it in there, and just to put it on your face for 30 seconds. And usually what that does within your nervous system will help you to kind of like get out of that moment. Yeah. So I thought that was so cool. And that's what is so hard. If you sit in depression, it feels heavy, you feel paralyzed, you feel stuck. So if you're able to build in these practices that can like help you in that moment to get out of it, I think it's a game changer. Like it really is.
Have you been watching all the like cold plunge trends and like the benefits of it? It's incredible. Like it's like an actual like shock to your body, and it like gets you out of whatever funk you're in. And obviously repeatedly is like so good and beneficial for you. But there's other things you can do too. Like anytime I feel down or I feel depressed or I'm having a hard time, I end up walking aimlessly for miles. Like I'll just like go, I'll listen to like my podcast or a song or something, and I'll just like go on a really long walk, and getting out and moving helps me like process.
Yeah.
And I think you got to find that thing for you.
No, absolutely. And then the last one I thought was really good, and we've talked about this before, is realize not everyone is going to understand. So don't put too much weight in what other people have to say, because sometimes people can make you feel very like they can come off very diminishing of like what you're going through. And so I think it's important to remember like everything you're feeling is what you're feeling, and to give yourself the time and like the weight of it to process it. But at the same time, if someone goes against that, don't hold it against them, because they just might not understand what you're going through.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to be your own advocate. But I genuinely think you need to go to therapy, because you have past trauma it's trying to get out. Like it's very clear it's trying to get out. So if you hear one thing from us today, reach out to somebody and start to work through that process. But
create that routine. Challenge yourself to journal, challenge yourself to sit in it and be in it for a bit.
Yes.
And I'm just so excited for you to start this new chapter of your life in a healthy, happy, safe environment.
Yeah.
It's going to be a game changer compared to what it was before.
Yeah. So good.
Okay, well, I'm going to change directions here.
What?
Well, I feel like that was a little more serious.
Yeah.
Right? We're going in a different direction now. My story.
Okay.
This one is titled... I just love the title. I think it's so good.
Oh.
Am I a walking ick magnet?
Oh. I mean, I'm going to guess possibly.
Yeah.
If you had to say that sentence.
If you had to say
possibly.
it like that, there's a big chance you're right. Okay, let's get into it. Hey, Taryne. Hey, Ash. Sorry, I know Ash likes her name to come first. Wow.
Dang, she knows.
Wow.
And she still chose to put me first. So clearly she likes me more than you.
I'm going to take that as like a big slap in the face, but whatever. We're moving on. Let me just start by saying I'm a big fan of the pod and you two individually. My name is Renee. I'm 30 years old and I'm a teacher. And I don't have a lot of dating experience. Ever since I broke things off with my long distance gaslighting, cheating, off and on again ex-boyfriend of 5 years, every guy I talk to gives me the ick. Justifiably.
Well, he sounds lovely.
He sounds like a good time.
If
I just
you're
want to
done
like sit
with
and
him,
chat with him.
Send him on over.
Should we bring him on the pod?
Material. Yeah.
Can we just talk about you for a second?
Yeah.
Tell
Please tell me
us
how
about
I
you,
can improve,
so
sir.
we can make a list of all the red flags to look out for. We're going to continue here. There was James. He was jealous and controlling, even though we weren't in a relationship. ... Ick. There was Chance, who only wanted me for sex. ... Ick. And then there was Devin, who was basically who TLC wrote no scrubs about. ...
Ick.
Ick. I love that you're following.
Yeah,
You're getting it. There was Preston. He played mind games and liked to block and unblock me on social media. ... Ick. There was Sid. While he was just a one-night stand, I guess. ... Ick. Most of these guys I've met through social media or dating apps. This brings me to the most recent guy,
No,
Sean. Honestly, we should have added one more just for funsies. This brings me to the most recent guy, Sean. Sean went to the same college as me, although he was a couple years ahead of me. We have a lot of mutual friends, and I knew him at college. He added me on Facebook recently, and I didn't think too much of it because we have a lot of mutual friends. A week goes by, and he messaged me. We start messaging, flirting, and then he asked me for my number. We continue flirting and getting to know each other over the next few days. I decided to do a little detective work and look through his profile, and I see his place of work is listed where one of my friends work. I asked my friend if she knew Sean. She didn't, but she was sure another coworker would. My friend did all my dirty work and found out that he hadn't worked there since 2017 and has since moved back to his hometown, ... with his longtime girlfriend.
Oof.
My friend's coworker was able to find out that his girlfriend has been out of town for the past week on business, which is exactly when he started messaging me.
Well, I mean, honestly, nothing went off when he added you on Facebook. Like, he slid into your Facebook messages. Like, nothing went off. Come on.
I mean, I agree. I think Facebook has changed over it's been a while, actually. For the past 10-ish years, Facebook is a family app, right? Like, that's where, like, you chat with your aunt and uncle sometimes, or, like, big moments, like, I'm engaged now.
Yeah.
Get posted there. You don't really,
and your last post was, I graduated college.
It's like monumental things that you should probably change just to keep those people updated on your life. Like, oh, like, I have a kid now.
Craziness.
Here's the picture of the kid and the kid's name. Yeah.
What is
so?
that?
I agree with Taryne. The Facebook thing was
I don't know. That's a red flag to me.
I don't know about
if
that.
I've ever seen one.
Oh, shoot. Anyway, she continues. I really just wish I could quit attracting these type of men. Anyways, I really just needed to get this off my chest and could use some perspective. Thank you all for all that you do. Love you the mostest.
Did I get you on that one or what?
Yeah, I thought that. I just think the Facebook thing is so funny because it's so true.
It is. Yeah.
It's so true. It's like, it's kind of like being like, oh, this guy is kind of the worst. We started talking, a few months ago on Tinder.
Yeah.
And Tinder is definitely the hookup app. Like,
yeah.
It's not like a dating app for serious dating anymore. So,
well, to me, like, Facebook is like, no one in my life looks at my Facebook.
I don't remember the last time I was on Facebook.
You would go on my Facebook and you were like, either this girl died 12 years ago or like just doesn't go on.
Yeah.
So I feel like if someone's messaging me on Facebook, like, to me, that's like, oh, that seems like a safe place where like no one else is like on there. Because I'm sure his Instagram would probably have more.
Show that he has a girlfriend. Show that he's in a relationship. Yeah. I mean, my Facebook probably says I still go and attend Riverside Community College.
She never left. She's just there.
She's somewhere on the property.
She's what are the dorm people, the people that live there to like mentor the other people?
What are they called? I don't remember.
Resident something. I don't know.
I don't know. So yeah, this sucks. So we're 30 years old. We're a teacher. We don't have a lot of dating experience. And these are the guys that we have. Oh, we have a boyfriend, a really trashy boyfriend of 5 years who has clearly scarred you.
Yeah.
And so then all these guys come in and out of your life, here and there, and they just give you the ick. Well, first of all, I want to say all of these icks are justifiable. Everything you've said about these guys sounds awful.
Yeah.
So at least your ick meter is working well.
Yeah, like, I mean, it doesn't sound like you're like this super picky person or you're being unrealistic. It sounds very much like they deserve to give you the ick.
1,000%. Like, that ick makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's your body saying, nope.
Yeah.
Like,
and
nope.
I will say, I feel like something happens. I blame dating apps and social media on, honestly, everything.
A lot of things. Yeah.
Everything. Something happens and dating culture, quote unquote, because that kind of makes me cringe when people are like dating culture, but it's true.
Yeah.
Is so different. And I think it's affected men more than women because I feel like there's this very, they feel like they have access to anyone they want. So there's not like the effort of pursuing. There's not the effort of like putting like all their focus into something to see if it works before moving on to something else. It's very much like I went on a date. Yeah, she was super cool. But then on my way home, I got a notification I matched with someone else and then freaking squirrel. Like, then my focus is on them. Yeah. And I don't think it's even has to do with like, oh, I like this one more than that. I think it literally is just wherever their head is and their attention got caught in the moment.
Yeah.
So you have all these guys that are doing this and it feeds their ego. And then, I mean, this is all just like personal opinion, but there's something happening because every single one of my single friends, every guy that they start something with, it ends in a way that you're like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, and it's just nuts to me how just terrible our options are out there. And so I don't think it's that you're a magnet. I think that's literally what we have to work with right now.
Yeah.
And I think you will continue to find icks until you find someone who is like
the
great.
rare gem.
Yeah.
The rose in
Yes.
the desert.
Yes.
Desert rose.
The desert rose.
And let's say that again. It's not you.
No.
It's 1,000% not you. And I feel like I keep referencing this, but I did my solo episode was about dating and how to go about dating. And I said something about like entering into a dating scene and thinking of it as like a business transaction. And I really do still stick by that, like especially with dating apps. You don't know the person really. So it's important that you don't sit down and already have a crush on them when you haven't met them in person yet. Like it's so important with dating apps to keep yourself in check, keep your emotions in check. You start daydreaming about them, don't. You haven't met them. You have not met them. And even if you've gone out with them 2-3 times, you still don't know them. So it's okay to have a crush, but like you really have to keep yourself in check. And if you don't click, if you're not compatible, it's not them, it's not you. You didn't click.
Yeah.
It's not a good transaction. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
And it has, again, nothing to do with you
No.
and nothing to do with them. It's okay, this didn't work out. Good luck with life. Bye. And move on to the next thing. And I think it sounds harsh, but I think it's imperative with online dating apps that you do it that way. Otherwise, your heart's just going to get broken again and again and again and again, and you're going to get frustrated. But I think that's the key to dating apps.
Yeah.
It's not personal. You just didn't click.
Yeah. And it does suck for people who are like me that are very like old school in our approach to dating.
For sure.
It does really suck. But I think it is one of those things that you have to, I don't know, but then it's so frustrating because for me, like, of course I go into things with walls up. But I also feel like I try to treat that person with a little bit of benefit of the doubt.
And they deserve that.
I'm not going to question everything you say to me. I'm not going to like assume I'm one of 15,000 girlfriends you have. Like I'm going to trust you till you give me a reason not to. But then without fail, it's like we had a friend recently who one day the guy is telling her, I see a future with you. Like 2 days later, he's like, "Oh, sorry, I feel like we shouldn't talk because I'm dating someone else."
It was
and I
within
just
a
see you."
week.
Yeah,
It was
and
insane.
It's like, how do you operate?
Yeah.
How do you do that without then going into everything being so cynical?
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe you protect yourself from getting hurt, but you also don't show anyone the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Because you're
Which
cynical
is what
and you're
you
callous
should be showing when you go on a date. Like you want to be able to present your best self.
So there's literally no way to win because you could be super harsh and callous and then lose a guy who could be amazing, but you don't get hurt or surprised by stuff. Or you could go in super trusting, show your full authentic self, but you are maybe going to get hurt.
Yeah.
So it's like either way, it's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
Oh, it's maddening, and it's happening to everyone. And again, this is going to bring me back to it's not you.
No.
It's not you. And in fact, join the team. There's a whole group of women, men, everyone who's just so frustrated with dating right now because of the type of dates they're going on and the type of people they're meeting.
It's terrible.
It's also extra terrible when the app says you're compatible. That's what I'm compatible with?
Like, you can't even trust even like a person's profile because there's things I have as like deal breakers. And so I'm like, so one would assume the people coming towards me are people that at least we have foundationally similar viewpoints, right? And it never fails. Like, they're the ones that say the weirdest stuff to me. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I haven't even met you and I can tell you're a walking contradiction. Like, I I just don't. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
It's so bad. The only advice I can really give you is don't lose hope. It's totally okay to take breaks. And I think it's actually really healthy to take breaks from the dating apps because you can get so in your head and start taking things personally. So if you feel like you're being beaten down again and again and again, take a month or two off, you know, treat yourself, go out with your girlfriends, like focus on you. And then when you're feeling ready again, like get back in there, keep your boundaries up and keep the bar high because there's good people out there and they're also looking for you too.
They're also struggling too.
They're having a hard time also.
And honestly, I feel like I'm very thankful for Icks, to be honest. Because
Icks are red flags.
No, and it's so nice to just be like, got it.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for showing me that and not hiding that till I'm married to you. And then I'm like, who is this person I married?
Sitting like across the table from someone, you're like, oh, you're a douchebag.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you for the honesty.
Thank you, sir.
See you later.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so funny because I've had a lot of friends that are like, why do you tell guys so soon that you're not going to have sex with them?
To get them out of the way.
Honest to God, even if I really like a guy, for me, I'm like, I would rather know right away if this is a thing that they're like, if there's not the possibility of this in the next few dates or like in the whatever, I'm not interested. So
let's not waste each other's time.
So it's like, I have respect for people that are willing to just be like, okay, like that is kind of, sorry, like bye. And I'm like, okay, bye. But like, at least we know. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I very much, and a lot of the times, like sometimes it might seem too blunt, but I'm like, I'd much rather know that you're not interested in me now than me catch feelings, than us go on a couple more dates.
I know.
And then me be actually devastated. When, you know, so I'd much rather get it over with now.
Yep. Absolutely.
Dating also sucks right now. I'm sorry.
I just opened my Facebook. I'm going to send you my profile picture. Like, who is she? Honestly, I'm kind of impressed that it is semi-updated. Yeah, I texted it to you.
Oh, that was years ago. That was our first Coachella together.
And then the last two posts were funeral announcements. Because I was letting people know if they knew these people. So it's like, that's literally the only reason I've gone on.
Oh, shoot. Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, what's your profile picture?
You know what? Let's see here.
We should just like start a challenge where people post their like Facebook profile versus Instagram profile. Yeah. You know? This is so funny. And then my wall is just full of birthday messages, but it's like 1 year, a couple things, and then the next year, that's like all there is on my wall.
Okay, here's my Facebook profile. I took this probably.
Did I take this of you?
No, Alicia did. Alicia and I were in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And we were out there for some kind of like ice cream museum or something like that. And she took that photo of me. And it's probably 8 years old.
I was going to say, I feel like ours are kind of in the same era, except I know that when I took this picture, you had more of the like white icy blondes.
Yeah. So at first I thought your photo was a Coachella photo, but that's when we did that Universal event.
Yeah, we did the red carpet thing. Yeah.
I was trying to be Mother of Dragons with my platinum blonde hair. I loved that.
Wow. What an era.
Yeah. All that to say, don't trust Facebook.
No.
Don't trust Tinder.
No.
Don't trust some of these things. And definitely don't trust the random guy who pops back into your life all of a sudden. Where you been this whole time? Like, okay. Run away. I am so sorry that happened to you. All these Icks in a row. But you deserve better.
Yeah.
And he's out there.
Yeah.
He's out there.
Absolutely. He's probably chilling with mine in freaking Antarctica or something.
Yeah, they're actually buds. And they're also looking for both of you. Yeah. Perfect.
I guess. Or they're in jail. Honestly, I don't know.
It's a huge possibility. We'll never know. Should we end it with a dad joke?
Duh. I'm already ready. I went into the library and asked if they had books on the Titanic. Mm-hmm. Yes, quite a few, the librarian said. Sorry to hear that, I said. They'll all be ruined by now. Get it?
Yes.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
Do you get it?
They're like soaking
They're
wet.
on the Titanic.
Yeah.
Not on the Titanic.
Yeah.
You hated it.
Oh, it wasn't great.
You hated it.
It wasn't great.
You hate me.
Guys, if you made it to the dad joke, you already know we love you the mostest. Thank you for hanging out with us for another hour of your life. And thank you so much for everyone who wrote in. If you guys have any stories, funny, serious, or like anything and everything in between, please send it in. If you have a friend with a story, make them send it in. Or co-write. Yep, co-write. I like that. Yeah, we love you the most. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.